Hi, everybody. If you are joining us live today, thank you so much for being here. Take a moment and drop in the comments where you're joining from. I am in Austin, Texas, and it is crazy hot here, and I'm done with it. I see other people wearing boots and sweaters, and so I'm wearing a sweater today just because I'm ready to, not because I should be. And I'm here today with Grant Shaddick, the founder of Tella, which is a tool that has really changed a lot of things for me this year. So Tella is an all-in-one screen recording and video editing platform, and it has replaced Loom and Descript for me. So I'm so excited because today Grant's going to be walking us through some of Tella's features, recording, editing, and sharing. And as we go, feel free to drop any questions in the comments, and I'm going to interrupt Grant as he shows us these things, and he's going to answer all of your questions. LaShonda Brown is here. Grant, I think you know LaShonda. Really happy to have you here. Yeah. Thanks, LaShonda from Virginia. And Grant, before I forget, has generously given me a coupon code to share. So you can use code Christy Price for 30% off for 12 months. And that works on all the pricing tiers except for enterprise. And it works for monthly and annual plans. And I will drop my affiliate link in the comments as well. Grant, so happy that you're here. And I know you and the team have been working on some new features as well. So I'm probably going to learn some things today too. Take it away.
Yeah, cool. Well, thanks for having me. Nice for us to be able to chat again a little bit before this, and to be able to tell everyone watching a little bit more about Tella. Sounds like some people are familiar, which is cool. So hopefully this is just a chance to maybe uncover a few more tips or whatever, or just reinforce what you might already know. On the discount code as well, you can just click Christy's link without needing to enter a discount code, so that should automatically apply. If that link doesn't work, you can try the discount code as a fallback. And if there's any trouble with either of those, email me afterwards or message our support team and we'll fix it. Maybe to give you all a sense of what we're going to do today. I'm going to show you a little bit about how to record with Tella. We'll spend most of our time looking at the editor, and then we'll talk a little bit more about sharing, downloading, getting a video to other platforms, and keeping your account organized. But hopefully the bulk of the fun will just be playing around in the editor. And please just ask questions as you go. I'm just going to be like deep in demo mode, so send the questions in the comments, and then Christy can interrupt me, and then I can actually get to your questions rather than you guys all having to like save them to the end. It's fun as well if you just like have an idea for something and ask, and then while I'm in the app, I can like just try and like show you that or this. Demoing a video editing tool, like I'll do my best to give you like a coherent flow of how everything works, but it's always a bit all over the place. And so it's best if we can just like, you get the information you need when you need it. So just ask away. Cool. Should we bring up my screen and
here we go.
We'll get into it. Not that one.
Awesome.
We want this one. Cool. So what is Tella? We are an all-in-one screen recorder, and the all-in-one, you hear about a lot of all-in-one products. You probably don't hear about too many all-in-one screen recorders, and that's because this is kind of a new thing. Over the last few years, there's been a bunch of screen recording tools that we've all kind of started to adopt and build into our workflows for our own content creation or more direct business needs. But our sort of take is like you don't need to have 2, 3, sometimes 4 different screen recording tools or video tools ultimately to just make the videos that your business needs. We believe that that can just be one tool, and we've built the technology that can support that. So a classic example is like you'll have Loom for your quick screen recorded videos, and then you'll have something like Descript or Final Cut or ScreenFlow or something like that for stuff you're editing to YouTube. And then you might have something in the middle, some lightweight video editing tool for whether it's like social content or something like that. And so you have this like range of tools for different types of videos. Sometimes those videos overlap, sometimes they don't. Yeah.
And that's exactly where I was this year. So I was using Loom and Descript, and it was such a pleasure to get rid of those and be able to use Tella and to be able to go in and cancel those accounts, because I mean, when I added it up, I was spending so much for those two tools, and Tella is reasonably priced. So it was, and it feels good too to support your team and Tella, because you're a real human. You're not like Atlassian, the company that bought Loom. So, you know, Grant's real, Louise is real. So it just feels a lot better to give Tella my money instead of, you know, this huge corporation.
Cool. I mean, hopefully we become a huge corporation, but still manage to feel more human than most.
Yes.
But you know, that's where we are today. A last thing on here is the headline of the site is team updates in the morning, YouTube videos in the afternoon, because we want to kind of point out like it's got this like flexibility where you can do the quick lightweight stuff, and that's going to feel as efficient as any of the quickest, most lightweight screen recording tools. But you've got the power to go and publish fairly high production content. So yeah. Now what I'll do is I'll jump into the app and just give you a little bit of orientation. If you haven't already made an account, your library is going to look something like this. You organize it with playlists. You can invite your team, so you can have lots of people in here. You can search across everything. You can search through things that you've said in the videos. So you don't really need to organize your videos that much, so long as like you know it was something mentioned in the video, you can usually find it pretty quick. You can make whole playlists public and keep things private internally. But we'll come back to some of that stuff later. But that kind of covers the main setup of the app, and then you can configure all of your settings and preferences and invite your team from here. So the next step really for us to do is to record. Now in Tella there are 1, 2, 3 main ways to record. The most common way is with our web recorder. So you just click this button at the top here. That opens up a recorder inside of the browser. And then you can just click the continue option to record in the browser, and that will give you a UI like this, where you can configure your camera, your mic, you can share your screen, you can choose if you want to capture one clip and be done, or do multiple clips that get stitched together. You've got a few other controls like flipping your camera, doing a virtual background, that kind of thing. Sharing a screen, you get the usual picker inside of the browser. So recording inside the browser is the most common way. It's the easiest. You sign up and you can get going right away. You don't need to install anything. You're good to go. But we have a couple other ways. The other browser-related way is with our Chrome extension. So you can head to the Chrome store and you can install our Chrome extension, which just lives in your browser. If you're used to Loom, this should feel relatively familiar. It's the same idea. You can just open this up wherever you're browsing and share your screen and record a video, grab the link, share it right away. But I'd say the most powerful way to record is using our native desktop apps. So we have a native Mac app and a native Windows app. I'm on a Mac, and this is what the Mac app looks like. It's like a little floating iPhone camera. That's the idea. You can configure your devices down the bottom here. When you open the app, if you have your screen on like this, it's ready to record your screen. So basically, it's just one click to start recording. Like I can just open and push the red button, and I'm ready to go.
This is the one that I use 100% of the time. It just works so seamlessly. And you may be getting to this, but one of the things that I really love about Tella is that I can drop in speaker notes because I do scripting for videos. And I just saw in your release notes that there's now a teleprompter.
Yeah. So, well, for the native Mac app, we've had a teleprompter for a while. So let me, capitals. Here's some notes on. Excuse my typing and talking. I can't do it. But then you can play them back like that. And the cool thing, my favorite thing about the native Mac app and Windows app, it's the same concept, is that both this thing and this thing are completely invisible to the recording. So you can see this, and you can keep looking at this to monitor yourself, make sure you're looking okay, control the recording. You can read your notes. You can put your notes right up below your webcam if you want and play them. These won't get captured by the screen recording. So your screen is recording everything that's underneath this stuff and never these things. So you can keep this on your screen, super handy. It makes for the most ergonomic, comfortable recording experience because you have it all there, but it's not going to mess up your video. Instead, your video ends up being a nice, clean feed of your camera, and your screen as completely separate tracks that you can edit and remix and rearrange. So that's what I'll show you now.
Yep, and people are loving this. Risha says, that's great. LaShonda says, I love how flexible that is. It's, it's so cool. That's something that I love because I have notes for myself or sometimes a script that I'm reading, and it's so easy to just have it pulled up right in your eye line and then not worry about anything else and worry about it showing up anywhere.
Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll just record a quick clip. I'm just dropping down the resolution because while I'm recording and on this call, the double streams will make one of them go bad. So when you're making your own videos, you can bump the resolutions way up to as high as you like.
Yeah, I go the 4K and it works great on And Beatrice says, hey, Christy, so helpful. Glad you're here, Beatrice. Thanks for chatting.
4K on screens is really what you want. You don't always need 4K on your camera. Depends also on the camera that you're using. 4K camera recordings, and this is just, I guess, a PSA. 4K camera streams are humongous. Like the amount of data. Like I'm using my continuity camera, my iPhone, for I can switch it here and you can see the difference. Maybe it'll support both, hopefully. If I recorded this in 4K on here, you just get a huge file. So you just kind of want to just have a second check and be like, do I really need like the absolute maximum quality for the camera stream? Sometimes you do, but it's just a PSA. It's just a massive file. Not that you need to really worry about that because everything gets stored in the cloud. But if you don't want to kind of clog up your bandwidth with just massive amounts of 4K webcam data, then maybe don't.
I did not know that, so thank you for sharing. That's definitely learning for me. And Jai is here and says good morning. Thanks for joining us, Jai.
It doesn't. If you've got a new Mac and you've got a great internet connection, it probably is not going to matter. But if you've got an older Mac, if your internet connection's a little bit spottier, that's just something to keep in mind.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I've got everything configured. I've got the screen, camera, mic, all good. And I'm just going to push this red button to record. I'm not plugged in. Hopefully that doesn't turn into a problem later in the demo. You'll get this warning telling you that low power mode is on. It's just something to keep in mind if you're not, but it's not going to matter for this. So the recording starts. This is what it looks like. You can cancel, you can pause, you can restart, you can make sure your audio is coming through okay, and you've got the timer there. I can just move this thing around as I need to. I can minimize it, I can resize it, whatever you need to. Same thing with the notes. None of the stuff is going to end up in our Now, screen
I
recording.
did not know that I could resize the image. That's amazing.
Yep, it should. If you wanted something bigger, just to maybe you're just recording a camera, then maybe that's the main thing,
Yeah.
and that's cool. If you kind of want this out of the way, then you can really minimize it.
Awesome.
Yeah. So let's hit stop, and let's hit preview. Get rid of the notes there. And we've got our screen recording and my little camera bubble down here in the editor. And you can see there's no Tella UI or speaker notes in the screen recording. You just get a nice clean screen recording ready to edit. So,
and I want to just give you
record.
some props here, because it took me very little time to figure out how to use the layout, the cut tools, the zoom tools, all of those you've created so intuitively that if you just spend a minute playing around with each one, it works the way you think it should. And that is so hard to do on your end. I'm sure when you're creating it, because you're creating it for so many different people who are using it for different tasks, but it is really intuitive. So I just wanted to say thank you for that, because I have given days of my life to learning other tools, and Tella did not require that of me.
That's nice. Yeah, I mean that's what we strive to do, and hopefully we as Tella becomes more powerful and can handle more types of videos, we want to make sure that it still feels like that. Tella is a lot more powerful than when we first started, but I think we've managed to keep it feeling fairly lightweight. So yeah, this is the Tella editor. I'm not going to edit this video because it's not a great example of a video to edit. I'll jump into another one in a moment. But a little bit of navigation. When you're working on a video, you're editing. So if you think about the spectrum of use cases, you've got your quick video that you want to share to a mate, like, just for some feedback, or like, showing them how to do something. And then you've got your content that you're putting out to YouTube. For the latter stuff, for the content, you're going to be in the editor, and you're going to be adding more clips, and you're going to be using these tools, which we're going to jump into in a second. But when you're sharing a video, you just want to get this off to someone, you can just grab the link to this video, and it's going to be ready for your viewer to watch instantly, no matter how long the video is. One of the things we've worked really, really hard on over the years is that you can record for as long as you want, and the video will be ready to share and play near instantly, no matter how long the video is, whether it's a 30-second video like this or 30-minute video.
And we've got a great question, actually, from Beatrice. And the answer is yes. Beatrice says, are you able to control the placement of the corner bubble?
Yes, we're going to jump into that. Yes, and maybe like nothing you've ever seen before. So we're going to jump into that in a sec.
Yep. And Purpose and Pixel Co says, so true, amazed how easy it is to learn. So you've got some fans here.
Cool, great. So this is the view page. This is, if you are sharing a video that's going to be hosted on Tella, this is what your viewers will see. You've got the player, chapters get automatically generated. You've got the transcript there as well as comment thread, and there's some AI tools and experimental stuff we're trying out here. But this is the core experience. You can react, your viewers can react. All of this stuff can be configured. So if you're like, I don't really want people reacting, I don't want comment, you can change all that stuff. You can also add a theme to this page. So if you want to match your brand, you can do that too. Again, we'll jump back to this page a little bit later when we get into the sharing and exporting. But that sort of gives you the two core screens we're going to look at from here, which is basically the editor and then the view page, the where you watch the rendered video.
Awesome. And I think a few people have just joined us, so I'm going to go ahead and put the coupon code back on the screen. So Grant has generously given us 30% off if you use code Christy Price. And again, that's for annual or monthly plans, except for enterprise, for a year. So thank you.
Cool. Christy, do you know if the audience and you can hear my screen's audio? Because I was going to play a little segment of a video, and it doesn't. I've got subtitles on it, but like if there's the sound, then I guess that's a bonus.
I have no idea.
You let me know.
Okay.
Any sound coming from that?
No, and I don't see
Okay.
a way to turn it on in StreamYard.
Yeah, I'm sharing my entire screen rather than I think you can do it if you just share the tab, but
Okay.
it's okay. I'll just toggle on captions and you can watch it.
Great.
So we're going to jump into the editor now, but what I wanted to show you is the cutting edge, I suppose, of like the sort of like the limit, sort of some of the limits of what you can do in Tella, which should give you some inspiration of like, how far you can push the product. Because most people come to us and are like, cool, I need to make some simple screen recording videos. And we're working towards just letting you be able to make whatever you want. And this video, which I made 9 days ago, is a good example of heading in that direction of, where, it's almost at a point where you can kind of just do whatever you want in there. But this video is a good example. So I'll just play a little bit of this back. You're not going to hear it, but read the captions to follow along and just take note of what's happening on screen and what's in the video to get a sense of things.
Oh yeah, I'm familiar with those other timelines. They're rough.
So I'll pause it there because that kind of covers the most of what I wanted to show you. But basically, this video isn't really a screen recording. This video, the A track, was me walking around the park filming myself on my phone, and then I just uploaded that to be the core video that I wanted to edit. And then it's full of media, B-roll, and overlays. So like this one, for example, this is actually just an AI-generated video where I was like, make this screenshot look like it's in the Matrix. And that was added into this. And then if you seek ahead, all of these little screen recordings over the top, these were just screen recordings I did after the fact. So I like recorded a video of the feature I was talking about and then integrated it into the video. And then where we paused, I think around here, we've got text overlays. So you can add text and other images to just sort of temporarily appear on the screen to, like, in this case, talk about a keyboard shortcut. And there's multiple clips in here with a bunch going on. So this gives you a sense of the type of content you can get towards. And this is quite a short video, so you can make these like very short, punchy ones, or you can sort of like make the slightly more chiller, long form ones. So this gives you a sense of where things can go.
And we've got a comment here saying Tella is replacing 3 other tools and subscriptions for me. Incredible.
Great. That's the goal. Cool. So I'm jumped into the editor now with a video that we're going to work on. This is just a tutorial video. Let me just check that I've got everything I want to in this.
And while you're checking that, I think, the text overlays, I think, is fairly new. And that's super cool. And you mentioned images there as well. Is that something? I know we can do like the whole screen. Can we do like smaller images now too?
Yep. So this overlays panel is in beta. I don't know off the top of my head how much is user facing yet. But all of this will eventually be ready for everybody to use. Text is definitely there. Media is definitely there. Highlights and blurs are. Sound effects and motion graphics might still be internal only, but they're coming.
I think the media and the sound effects, you and I talked maybe a month ago, and I'm like, that is the thing that is going to make it like a clean cut with Descript forever. That's the one thing that I kind of miss from Descript. So very, very excited for that.
Cool. So let's go and edit this video. We're not going to go and do a full edit together of this. Otherwise, we'll be here forever trying to go through the 13 minutes. So I'll go through the tools. We'll make some edits, and then as you have questions about like how a specific thing works, you can let me know. One thing I didn't show you before earlier in the editor was our script side panel. So if you want to, you can also edit. You can drive your editing from the transcript.
I use this all the time. It is so fast.
You can just like highlight stuff. You can copy it. You can cut it. And then there's a few extra tools in here. If you want to edit the subtitle text, so like, for example, this is like I say the Tella Help Center, but the transcription in this this is quite an old video, mistranscribed that to telehealth. So I could go and right-click and change that, change the actual subtitle text there. But yeah, you've got a bunch of tools in here for editing like this. I am a bit more of a timeline guy for editing, so I'm gonna move ahead with that. One other thing is we've got this agent that we're working on. It's not ready to use externally, but that's also going to be coming soon. Maybe I can do a kind of a YOLO demo of this later, and we can see what happens.
Awesome.
Let's start editing this. So the first thing I normally do is I do a rough cut. So I jump into the cut tool, and so you have this timeline here. You get quite a high definition waveform, and then the reason I kind of like sticking to the timeline is you can see the transcript sort of summarized along the bottom, and that's usually enough for me. And the neat thing is you like zoom in and you get more definition of the words. And so that's great because you can just select a whole phrase and say, actually, I don't want this whole thing. You can hit delete, and then that cuts it from your video. And that's as easy as it is to remove parts. You can then fine tune that by like clicking and dragging on the remaining parts of your video. You can also just use the split tool where it splits it, make another split, and then you have these like segments, and you just select the segment you don't want. You can get rid of that. So you can do this quite manually with the split tool, or you can like click on a phrase, click on a word, or you can just make your own selection like this if you need to span across multiple phrases, or you're trying to line up with the waveforms. Let me just reset those. But you can go through the video and do the sort of manual edits. But people tend to like starting with our auto cut tools. So
I start with these two, the find mistakes. So I do the silences, the buffers, and find mistakes.
Yep.
And I love it. I actually leave filler words, which I think might be, I don't know if that's contentious, but I think it sounds more like a human when I have some ums and uhs in there. Yeah. Those disfluencies. Yeah. So I kind of wish there was a way to like cut some of the filler words, but leave some.
Yeah, I think we could do better with adding just a bit more control over how this is handled. I've seen in other tools that like give you a bit more control and let you pick what types of things it's looking for. So that's something we would probably want to do. And also, like for example, the way I say ums is really like I'll attach the really to the word, and so even the best AI tool cutting it, it's just tricky to cut it and match it with whatever I previously said, because the sound is so continuous. So depending on how you speak, you know, sometimes the filler words are just not even worth trying to remove sometimes. So,
but the find mistakes tool saves me so much time, and I've learned as I'm recording, I start over with the same word, so it will find it really easily and fix it just automatically, and it's just such a time saver. I love it.
Yeah, so I've just run this. It might take a little bit of time. Oh, it wasn't too bad. And they're streaming in. There's a lot of mistakes in this video because this was just me doing a sort of a one-shot demo. So you can see it going crazy right here. But when you run this, hopefully on less of a mistake-laden video, you can then go through the script sidebar and then just like accept or reject these. That's probably not practical with this video, finding 114 of them, but you know, maybe you want to do that. You can also just accept all or reject all. It will find both the filler words and combinations of the filler words, but it will also find, maybe I've got some restarts in here. This is actually just a lot of filler words, isn't it? It's a lot of filler words. This is, if I was in here where I said like, if I like restarted a sentence or messed something up, then that's the other type of stuff that this would surface. But this case,
That's
actually,
what it does for me so well.
Yeah.
So I'll start something and then I'll lose my train of thought. And then I'll restart that paragraph essentially over. And it just is so cleanly cuts out the mistakes.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah, on it. So this one, because this is just me riffing, I probably didn't have to start over too much. But if you do like something a bit more rehearsed with a bit more of a script, then there's some good stuff in there that you'll be able to remove. Buffer removals. I don't know if I've seen too many other tools that do this, but basically, if you're just sending a pretty low stakes video, this may be the only edit that you ever need to do, and it just removes the silent part that exists usually at the start and the end of the video. In this case, it's super marginal for mine, but like often you hit record, you collect your thoughts for a second, you start, and then you get like maybe a second or half a second of silence at the end. And at the end of the video, you're there looking for the stop button or something like that. And it will cut that. And you can do both the start and the end in one go, and that's really nice. And then the silence and filler words, you just get some controls over how granular you want the silences. If you do natural, which only removes smaller ones, larger ones, sorry, then you can see the timeline now getting chopped up. Now, the one thing I'll finish with on here is you can choose to edit your video where you have the cuts, what's being cut out visible, so you can actually see these like empty gaps, which don't play back on the canvas, but you can sort of see what's been removed there, and that makes it kind of easy to fine tune. But some people find that a little bit awkward, that you have to like, you're playing back a video and you have to see it jump to these different floating parts. So if you click on this, you can do hide cuts, and that will merge everything together. And then only when you're like hovering over a segment will it like reveal the actual segment that is there. And as you zoom in, you can see these dots, which are indicating where there is a cut. These will expand into clickable things that tell you you've got a 1 second cut there, or a 0.8 second cut there, and clicking on those will undo that cut. So you can experiment with either the mode that shows you the cuts or the mode that hides the cuts, and see which feels best.
Yeah, this is just so handy and so visual. Beatrice earlier said that she loves seeing the transcript right under the clips, and the way you guys have added that information, it's so information rich there, but it doesn't feel overwhelming, and it works really well. And I know you're going to get out probably into layouts next.
Yep.
And Beatrice had a question about that with the bubble, and the layouts are really powerful, and also something you can control from the same timeline, which I think is so cool.
Yep. So I'm going to jump into layouts now, because that's probably the next place to go. So layouts is one of the core. The way layouts work with Tella is one of the sort of core defining things about Tella. You don't need to, if you've ever used like a more advanced editing tool, you often have to deal with keyframes where you're saying, okay, this thing, my camera, starts like this, and I'm going to set these keyframes which transition it to this new size and position. You don't have to deal with any of that. We just kind of wrap all of that up into this layouts feature. And so I've got the classic camera bubble layout. And instead of like having to manually resize this, I could select this one where I get a little bit of a background. I could also make the camera bigger. I could change it to like a square shape. You can change it to like portrait shape, or you can go a bit more funky and make yourself kind of look like a TV presenter. You've got a bunch of options with layouts, and so you get the core kind of preset, which is what the thumbnail represents, and then you have some config which lets you do some variations on the preset, and then you can go really crazy by jumping into the customize thing, and there's a whole bunch of extra config in here to really fine tune it. So I'm going to jump back probably to say this one, and I'll just do like a square for now. The other nice thing is I'm going to come back to style, but you can do like squircles. You can get this nice smooth rounded corner shape, which I really like. I'll come back to style and the other settings in there a bit later. So
yeah, and the position was the question Beatrice had.
Oh, yeah.
So you have this grid and you can just pop it around wherever you want it to go.
You can also collect things on the canvas and then you can freestyle that.
I did not know that. Oh my
yeah.
word, that's so cool.
You can make this whatever you want on the canvas. That turns it into a custom layout. So you're sort of breaking out of our presets. You can save custom layouts if you want to reuse it again. You just have to be mindful of like the size of the source material and how the custom layout is going to work with that. But if you're mostly recording your camera and your computer screen, it'll be fine. That's just the only gotcha with custom layouts. Custom layouts do have some lack of compatibility with other features, but not in a prohibitive way. But yeah, we try to give you enough with the presets, but if you do need something exceptional, then you can do this custom approach that I've just shown.
Cool.
So then you've got your sort of your core base layout, and you can see there's a little label here that says base. And so I've got like basically the full video selected, and the full video has this layout. But the neat thing about Tella is that you can add multiple layouts into the same video. And so the way to think about this is you have a base layout, and then you're adding temporary layout changes on top of the base. So you can just select an area on the timeline, just draw the little highlight thing. And then with that selected, then you can go and pick a different layout to run for that period of the video. So I can select to switch to my full screen camera for this part of the video. And you can see as I scrub through this, it goes from this original layout, and then it transitions to me talking directly to the camera. And
I love the cuts that you can make there too. So it can be, the animations. Yeah.
Yeah. And so now this is a smooth transition where it will like scale up like this and then scale back down. And if we change that to...
And Beatrice says, oh my God, that's amazing. So yeah, it is. It's so easy.
You can do some funkier transitions where, so like we go from this one and then it's going to like switch to the camera over there, and then it's going to like switch back. You can
don't do that.
Stack... You can stack layouts together and create quite fun effects. So one thing I like doing, so the way I like to start a video often is I will stack two layouts together. I will stack two camera ones. So you want to, often like videos, you want to start with kind of like you talk to the camera, the intro, draw the viewer in, and then switch into your demo. And so I like to start with the big full screen camera, and then I like to switch to a sort of like scaled down one that reveals some of the background. And so I can stack these two together, and then I'm just going to zoom in. Then when the layouts are stacked together like this, you can just grab the connecting handle and you can move the transition point without having to move both of them.
I did not know this either. I am learning so much. This is so cool. And also,
and then I'll just like,
Risha just said canceling Loom and becoming a Tella user as we speak. Awesome, Risha. And we've got another comment here. I love Tella so much.
So now we've got these two layouts stacked, and I think if I just change the transition in here to intro smooth, now you get this cool effect, which is like it like immediately goes from full screen and then like draws the viewer in right away.
I had no idea you could do that. And yeah, Purpose and Pixel Co. I did not know we could do that. We're learning a ton.
Yeah. And so you can just, I could go on and on about this, but like, as you stack these layouts together, you're just going to get these fun effects, and you'll find like little combinations that you like. You can use them for fun. You can use them functionally.
Grant, here's a question. You're making the timeline bigger and smaller. Is it with keystrokes? How are you doing this?
So I've got my, I'm on my Mac. I'm just holding Command and then 2 fingers scrolling up, and that's zooming in, and then 2 fingers scrolling out. But you can use this thing as well to zoom in and out. But,
okay, cool.
Yeah,
I
you
knew
can
you were
also,
doing it some magical way, and it just looks
yeah.
so professional.
No, just hold Command and scroll, and then you'll zoom in and out, and that's just the nicest way to zoom in and out. Yeah, so that is the core idea of layouts. And again, maybe just for example's sake, I could add layouts in the middle like this. Maybe I'm riffing and talking about some other stuff not related to the screen. And then I would add a layout for the outro, and I would move that over. Some recent features we added is that you can now multi-select. So if you hit Command click, you can select both of those layouts, and they say, actually, I want these both to be this one, and so you can do these like batch updates to layouts.
Nice.
And then you can also do fun stuff where, like, if you roughly know where you want to put a layout, you can select that there, and then is it Command or Shift? It's Command. You hold Command, drag, so Shift drag, Shift drag, and then you can like make multiple selections like this. So there's basically we're going to add a layout in these 3 places here, and we can do it like that. And so you can like quite quickly get this sort of like dynamic setup to your video.
Amazing.
There's one more sort of bigger topic within layouts I'm going to talk about in a second, but before I do that, we've also got this feature called auto layouts, which does probably what you think it does. It will go through the video and figure out where to put the layouts for you. We analyze the footage, we analyze your transcript, and our AI tries to decide where to make these types of edits for you. You can pick a template.
Cool.
Intro and outro is the most like safe bet one. It's just going to add like this and that. The waiting time for the model to feed back is not always like, it's not always worth it, because you can probably figure that out yourself. But that's where it is the most accurate. And then you can have some fun with these other styles and see what it does. The disclaimer to this is we are working on some ways to make this more accurate, but it's non-deterministic. So it's not like there's really hard and fast rules. The model is still trying to like figure this out for you. So you can get some really great edits. You can get some edits that you're like, what the hell is this? But it's going to get better. And I think it won't be long before this is probably the only tool you need to use when it comes to layout editing. But it's there to play with, and some people really love it. Some people, it's still not quite where they want, but it's all getting better. Now the next sort of broader area in layouts I'm going to talk about is media layouts. So,
this is so cool, and this was a pretty recent addition, right?
Yep. A little bit earlier this year.
Okay.
So media layouts. So in this video, let's switch this to this one. In this video, I've got the screen and I've got my camera, and that's what I recorded together when I did this demo. And what media layouts do is it lets you basically switch one of the things that you recorded and temporarily replace it with some completely other media. And so if we go to media down here, you get these 2 initial presets, but there's a bunch more customization there. And so this one here, I'm basically saying swap, I'll go back to that. This one's saying swap the screen out and let me upload something else and make it take over the whole screen. This one's saying swap the screen out, make it full screen, but keep my camera bubble visible for that, for however long I add that. So this is perfect for B-roll or for kind of just changing up what it is you're talking about temporarily. So when I showed you that video before, when I was adding those screen recordings over the top of me talking, it was using this feature. And here you can see, here's my crazy Matrix AI video, and I've just added that back in. And now you can see that it goes from me talking to the screen, and then it's going to like play back this video AI generated video of the matrix and the timeline there, and it's going to switch back. And if I jump into customization, then I can play around with how this looks. I think if I switch to this, yeah, it just brings my camera up on screen. I can make myself a bit bigger, and if you combine that with the smooth transition, you can. Has it got smooth transitions on? No, it's got hard
I
cut.
have to admit, I didn't know that there was a customized layout for this part. So this is very exciting for me.
Yeah, so now you get this like slightly smoother transition. You can see the squircle change to the circle. You could obviously not need to make it change to a circle if you didn't want to, and then it like fades back. So you can have a lot of fun with media layouts. You're basically, the way to think about it is you're swapping out the source of your core recording and switching it to something else. That probably, I won't go into that into more detail for now, but like you kind of get the gist of it, and you'll be able to just kind of like play around with it. You can fill your video with media. You can also, if you have recorded a video that only has one source, e.g. just a camera or just a screen, then you can still use this and then kind of like add, append an extra source. So the video I showed you earlier, this one, I think let's just jump into the editor of this. And the intro is a good one. So if we go into the layouts, this is just a single camera track. It's in high res. This might take, oh, it's okay. So it's just a single recorded track. And then I've got all these media layouts over the top to like, make it a bit more interesting. So this is the type of edit that you can do if you just record one input.
That's really cool. I mean, thinking about that for YouTube, it's like sometimes you want to do the voiceover stuff in your home studio and then you're traveling and you're like, I can do the screen grabs while I travel and then add that in. Yeah.
So you can do basically that. This is the type of thing that you would want to edit if you were doing a talking head. Obviously, I'm walking around, so it's not quite your classic talking head, but if you were just sat in your studio, you record your A-track talking head, and then you add in your extra screen recordings or take your screenshots of other things you want to include. You don't just need to add videos. You can add just like static images as well. Like, I don't know, these are just some random graphics I made. So this is just an image. And when you have an image, then you can make it kind of like whatever duration you want. If you have a video, it's kind of fixed to whatever the duration of the media is.
That's so cool. And Megan says, thank you for saving media to our accounts and not just the video. Makes life so much easier when you have media you use in every video.
Yep. If you have a team account, you can move media into a team, and so other people can reuse the same media as you as well. So normally I would say I would show zooms, which is another feature I really love. But while we're talking about media and the media library, I am going to show you overlays. I'm not going to go into everything in here because I don't know if we're going to have enough time. But Christy, you talked about like, what about images as an overlay? Is that a thing? And you can now hit add and then use the exact same media that you have to incorporate into your layouts as this like free form floating overlay sticker. So let's just take like that one we looked at before. This is just a little image I made, and now this floats across everything. I can set its duration on the canvas. I can rotate it and make it look kind of funky.
This is perfect because sometimes when I'm doing YouTube videos, I have to put logos on the screen. And so this is the perfect use case for that.
Yep, you can fade them in and out. Yeah. Now, the one warning, I guess, and then we're sort of thinking about this, is like, we don't have a multi-track timeline, which makes complex combinations of overlays a little bit maybe what you're not used to. And part of the reason why Tella feels simple often compared to other tools is because we don't have a multi-track timeline for anything. But we might be rethinking that just for the overlays feature so that you can like sync up different overlays together with different ones. But right now, for example, if I go and add another one, I don't know, like let's find something in here. Craig Federici from, I've got the feature flag enabled. You can see that we're working on the multi-track timeline.
Very cool.
Let me
You
just
saw it here first, people.
let me just disable this. New effect. If I switch this off, yeah, okay. So no, we don't have a multi-track timeline. Instead, you have to drive your overlay editing from the side panel, so you can see everything in here and a preview of it. And it's the same for if it was text, whatever. And you click on that, and that will reveal it. You can customize the timing of it, but that does mean it's hard to kind of sync things up together.
Yeah.
So we're working out how to solve this while still not throwing you into just some crazy multi-track timeline.
Very
which
cool.
we think is part of the reasons that most video tools can kind of feel a bit heavy. But we do understand that there's a lot of power and flexibility with that. We just need to try to find the right balance.
I love that. And Beatrice says, you guys have thought of everything, so many customizations available. And I think to your point, Grant, you guys have given us so much power, but kept the interface so usable and friendly. And that's such a great balance.
Great. Yeah, it's a moving target. But we try there. So text as well, just to maybe wrap up on this, you can add text layers, you can make them rounded, you can make them smoothly animate in as well and move them around as stickers, shadows. This we're working on. We'll try and make this a bit better and cleaner and a few more options there. But this is the starting point for adding kind of fun stickers and things like that. Blurring and highlighting as well. I'm not going to show motion graphics. That's still very beta. Sound effects. What have we got here? We've got a library of sound effects. So you can add sound effects. This is still very, very new. I think if this is live, go and play around with it. But it's extremely new. It's not going to be.
I've been waiting for this though, so I'm so excited. If it's live, I'm definitely going to go and play around with it.
Just trying to blast through the final things. I have to show zooms because that is that's an important thing because we are a screen recorder. With zooms, basically what you can do is you can just like select. You can make a highlight like we did before. One thing I will say about highlighting is when you make a highlight on this, the neat thing is that you can make a highlight in your zoom tool. And then you think, actually, I need to cut this. I don't need to add a zoom. You can switch to the cut tool and the highlight remains and you can hit and like cut that part out. Or if it's like, actually, no, I meant to add a layout for that. You can switch to the layout tool. Your selection remains and you can use the tool as you need. So you don't lose your intention no matter which tool you are in. So let's add a zoom. I've made the selection. I've added a zoom. And I'll switch to manual for now so we start from the beginning. Manual zooms are just going to zoom in this case 3x, which is probably a little bit too extreme. It's just going to zoom in, and it's going to zoom into the focus point, the target I've set here. But if I move this up to the top right corner, you can see that when we zoom in, it's zoomed in. Sorry, I'm not playing this back smoothly enough. You can see it's like zoomed in into the top right. And again, you could just move this like wherever you need it to go.
And I think a lot of us here do tutorials for clients, and it's really hard for them to understand what you're talking about when they're looking at the whole, like say the whole Squarespace interface. But if you're zooming it in and it brings their attention to that one thing that they need to notice or click on, it's incredibly helpful. And also for YouTube tutorials too. You know, anytime you're showcasing a how-to, this just makes it so much clearer and makes it look a lot more professional.
Yeah. Now, if you record your video using our native Mac app or our native Windows app, you get an extra superpower, which is you can use our auto feature. Because when you record using the Mac app or Windows app, we can actually capture all of your cursor data. And when we know your cursor data, where your cursor is, what you're clicking on, we can just put the zooms on for you. So if I just delete this one, and then I just hit generate zooms, give it a sec, it fills the whole video with zooms, and these are all now tracking the movement of my cursor. So if I play this back, you should see this kind of like pan around as it tracks tracks the movement. So you can see it's kind of like following me around for where there's the action, and then when it thinks that's kind of done, it'll zoom back out.
And then you can go in and fine tune it too afterwards.
You
Yeah.
can get rid of ones that you think are pointless, like or just not needed. If you think actually this one shouldn't be that deep or it should be more zoomed in, you can make that change.
Yeah.
Yeah, you still have all control. It just kind of gives you this starting point. I would generally say for longer form videos, like this is like 12, 13 minutes, people are going to get a little bit annoyed that it's just like constantly tracking a cursor around. So use them for longer videos, a lot more functionally. For shorter, fun, social content, Zooms are a great way to just make a basic screen recording really engaging. Because screen recordings are kind of hard to make something that's going to catch people's attention. But this tool really helps with that. So that's Zooms. Then maybe we've got a subtitle tool. So if I jump in here, you can turn on subs. We've got some simple subtitle styles that you can modify, and you can edit the transcript for what is actually displayed here. We're going to add a bunch more styles soon and a bit more control here. So this is due for a bit of an upgrade. In our audio panel, you can add some background music. You can upload your own. We've got a voice enhancer, and you've got some simple volume controls too. The last thing I'm going to talk about in the editor is the style tool. So the style tool lets you control the background, the border appearance and shape, and then you can also add the logo on your video. So if I jump into the backgrounds and select this one, you can see it changes the background there. You can upload your own. You can use some of our nice presets. You can put a default Mac one as well. There's a bunch of cool stuff in there. There's some animated ones which like move in the background with your video, so it's very easy to kind of make something look and feel nice and alive and professional. The border style, so you can like strip the shadow and just make it very flat. You can use a darker shadow. You can add these borders. You can add this sort of fun cartoony borders. There's a few options in there. And then, of course, you've got the shape. So I like the squircle one, but you can do more of the classic round, or you can go full sharp as well. You can access that from down here.
Yeah, and so just a lot of ways to align the video with your brand, so it really clearly looks like it comes from you.
Yeah. So we've got 1 minute left, couple minutes left.
Do you want to show us how to share these?
Yeah, to share the video. How do you share this? So for a video like this, is a longer form thing. I'm probably publishing this somewhere else. I can hit download. You can download your video in all sorts of different ways. Audio only, separate clips, separate tracks. There's subtitles only, but most of the time you just need the video. You can choose if you want to burn in the subtitles or you want the subtitles as a separate file. And then you've got your resolution, frame rate, and playback speed options.
And I will say that the playback speed for downloads is so handy, because the other day I had to record a story for Instagram and it was slightly over a minute, and I was able to put the speed at 1.1, which was not really different at all, but it got it under the minute. So my story doesn't have to be split. So it was super handy.
I almost always export at 1.1 because just the extra bit of speed, no one's really going to notice, and you can kind of like, keep your video compact. The time-lapse feature is really cool. So you can record like a really long, you could record yourself working for a couple of hours silently, and then you can just turn that into content by exporting this down to 30 seconds, and you'll see yourself doing 2 hours of work in 30 seconds, and it's just like a fun extra way.
I had no idea this was here. That is going to be amazing for B-roll.
Yeah, remove the audio though, because you don't want to sound like a chipmunk in there. So that's downloading, and then sharing, which I've talked about a little bit. Again, this is what, if you just wanted to share this as a link. There's a bunch of sharing settings, permissions. Within your team, you can embed it. You've got a bunch of controls for how you embed it. And on the view page itself, this thing, if you go into viewer settings, you have endless settings for controlling what people can do and see on this page. So that's the gist of sharing. And maybe finally, I think we kind of covered enough around the organization of things, but I will pause it there and see if there's any questions.
Yeah, if you have any questions, let us know. I dropped the my affiliate link and the coupon code in the comments again, but I'll just put the coupon code Grant has given us back on the screen. It's Christy Price for 30% off for 12 months. That works on all the pricing tiers except for enterprise, and it works on monthly and annual plans. And if you want to use my affiliate link too, that's in the comments. Grant, this has been incredibly helpful. I kind of thought that it would be just all stuff I knew, and I have learned a few tricks today too. So I'm really excited to go and play around with those. I think I'm going to do the time-lapse video first. I'm really excited about that.
Yeah, would recommend that. I don't know if the screen's still being shared, but I've just tried to see if we can do the crazy agent demo. I've asked it to go and like add some text labels throughout the video, and we're going to see if it can do that. It might not work. I definitely tested this a bit earlier, but live demos of beta features are always risky. But
I think what's cool though is that we're seeing how much you guys are working on the tool and the things that are coming. So, you know, being able to see just that brief glimpse of the timelines was so interesting. Beatrice says, I'm so excited to give this a shot. So many features I want to try out. I've been using it for months and I feel like I've gotten pretty good at it. And I've realized today that there are some things I can do that are going to save me even more time going forward. So I'm really excited. Grant, thank you so much for coming today and giving us this demo and for the coupon code and letting us see a little behind the scenes as well.
Yeah, happy to, this has been really fun. Thanks for having me. And thank you for all of your questions. Hopefully I'll see you in the product. You can email me directly if you have questions about whatever, grant@tella.com. Our support team are pretty good too, so feel free to ping them when you have questions or run into trouble. But yeah, thank you all again.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Bye.